I don't know whether to like laugh or say I told you so or be in shock. Oh my god, this is kind of hilarious. Hello, I am MechaRandom42, your favorite YouTube harpy, and so the new She-Ra dropped yesterday. Today is November 14th. It dropped on November 13th. The entire series dropped on Netflix yesterday, and yeah, so a whole whopping 11 people decided to rate it on Rotten Tomatoes here. Just what is the difference between the critic rating and the audience rating? There's a pretty big gap there, you know. I mean, I'm not a mathematician. I'm not one of those people who study new math. I'm an old person. I was a kid in the 80s. That's a pretty big difference, you know. That's a difference of, you know, 100%. Oh, oh my god. And so yeah, I did make a video saying that people do tend to, you know, that picking on the math of it, but you know, it did come to my attention after the fact that yes, that was just the number of critics who gave it a positive review, and this is the number of people who gave it a negative review, which is super misleading when you're talking about these scores. You know, if you give something a 3 out of 5, it should be an 80%, but no, they only go by positive, like fresh or not fresh for the percentages, which, you know, I will retract my previous statement in the video. It's still a bullshit score. It's still an absolute misleading sort of score there for the critics who love this series. People from like the Mary Sue, who are known sexist, racist sort of website against white males, and God, straight people, and they have only reviewed it on how diverse it is and not whether or not it's good. And then the viewers who seem to have reviewed it on whether or not it's actually good. So yeah, do you guys want to look at some of the viewer review? Let's see what I haven't even seen this. I just looked at the score and I put up my capture here. Oh my god, this is too funny. So let's put this full screen for you guys. And you know, let's look at the audience score here. Do they have them? Okay, so here this is all the critics. Great voice cast. No, that was the worst voice cast I've ever heard. Absolutely not. So this is a new person. Den of Geeks was up. IO9. Yeah, that Mary Sue is up. These people are all up. This Joel Keller is a new person. This is from, yeah, this one is from November 13th. So yeah, great animation and diverse cast makes the She-Ra leagues better than we saw as kids. No, you're only judging it on how diverse it is. That does not mean it's good. And the voice cast is terrible. I can't listen to this. I cannot watch one more episode of this garbage sober because of that voice, that shrill yelling. Oh my god. So how do I find the audience score? How do I find this? We don't have the audience. No featured audience reviews yet. Click the link below to see what others say. Sure, let's do that. So 5 star. We're pleasantly surprised how much I love the show. Morgan D. Where are all the 1 stars though? If they're giving it, okay, half star, nothing. Here we go. I was pretty excited to hear she was coming back. I wanted to like this, but man, what a disappointment. I don't have any problems with reboots and understand that with it comes changes to the original, which hopefully are for the better. First, the character designs, aside from a few like Bo, are huge steps backwards. I don't mind characters of different sizes and shapes, but most of the female characters look androgynous at best. Yep. With most looking like men in drag. They kind of do. Honestly, I wouldn't mind the animation if it was well written, but oh boy, is it poorly written. All the characters are pretty much the same aside from Catra. The score is generic and unmemorable, and nothing compared to the original. Voice work isn't so bad. I mean, they can only say what's written on the page in front of them, but the actress who plays She-Ra doesn't fit the character at all. Yeah, so we have a lot of people who aren't really actually giving it, terrible. I can't believe this got greenlit. The animation style is terrible and the story has nothing to do with the original. Please stop destroying my childhood. Well, it doesn't really destroy your childhood. It just pisses on your childhood characters. But if you want an LGBT hero, that's fine. But make a new character of your own and put a little effort into the animation and story. See, that works too. So we have a lot of people who are giving it like 5 stars with nothing and half a star with nothing. So I'm only going to read the ones that actually say anything. Yes, if it didn't have the name She-Ra, no one would care about the show. I absolutely believe that. It has Tumblr art, which would be okay if it wasn't trying to fill big shoes of the original. I'm okay with character depth. Lots of gay men love She-Ra, but they went and made the characters stuck-up millennials. They are. Oh my god, they are. The backgrounds are rough to look at. I actually liked them, and I kept waiting for the characters to ask me where the Horde is hiding, like Blue's Clues or something. This show does not know what it wants to be. It has some more adult ideas, such as partying. Then when a critique happens, the creator shrugs as if it wasn't the target audience. Well, you shouldn't have created a show entrenched in late 80s if you didn't want the critique of those late 80s kids. Thank you. That perfectly sums up a lot of what I'm thinking about it. Bland and boring, very mediocre. Throughout the series, the Horde never feels like a true threat. None of the characters can be taken seriously. My younger sister, who are by all means target audiences, got bored watching this. That's how you know you've done something very wrong. This person says, I watched the first few episodes. I don't think I'll watch the rest. The animation is poor, hardly any better than the original series. Stories and characters seem very shallow and superficial. See, this doesn't even critique any of the LGBT overtones. You know, it just says, hey, the show's not very good. Absolutely. This person gives a half a star. There are so many things wrong with the show that isn't even funny. By now, we've all heard about She-Ra's new design. Yes, it's that bad. The characters are idiots. Yeah, they are, actually. Adora doesn't know what a party was. Hell, she didn't know what a horse was. Oh, and the whole secret identity bit? Psh, who needs that? As for the animation, makes Steven Universe look like Attack on Titan. So if you're expecting Voltron or Castlevania levels of quality, you'll be sorely disappointed. Amy Carrero and AJ Michalka are probably the only two good things about the show, ? But I find myself somehow questioning a show where I sympathize with one of the main antagonists, Catra, played by AJ Michalka, more than I do any of the protagonists. Speaking of protagonists, someone needs to pimp smack Bo into the next universe. I think somebody needs to smack Glimmer into she was just so annoying. Literal dog shit. That's a great one. So this person says, as a fan of the original show, this is terrible. None of the characters have their own personality. The Horde seems to have no weight to them as being a threat. Everyone is incompetent. The humor is all over the place and cliche, not in a good way. The only character who's remotely likable is Catra. Not to mention, a lot of plot and scenes seem to be ripped off from Star Wars. Yep, that's what I said initially. The show build does not help one bit. If it were a show standing on its own, I would not care, but since this is using an established franchise, the show is absolutely terrible. I would not recommend this for anyone. Half a star just for Catra. Oh, wow. This person, another half star. Absolutely disgusting art, selling agendas and propaganda rather than good stories like the original series, which was amazing. This is even worse than the drivel Marvel Comics spits out monthly. Awful. Barely made it through one episode. Oh, here's another one. They have diminished the character and replaced all the magic with technology. I think they already had that, though, from what people were telling me. It already feels very dated. Everyone comes off as vapid and shallow, and the art style is just ugly to me. When you compare it to Netflix Castlevania Voltron, this feels very pandering. I'm not sure how it got 100% here on Rotten Tomatoes, but I'm highly suspicious with these reviews. Also, this seriously needs to be updated. It was released on the 13th, not the 16th. I didn't even notice that. Full of inconsistency in animation, lack of shadows, wherein scenes could make it more atmospheric. Backgrounds go from good to bad a lot of the time. Stories confusing and make no sense at times. Characters look stupid at times. Voices are bad. Obviously new to voice acting. Wow, I could go on, but man, I could... Like, all the people giving it 5 stars aren't saying anything. They're really not. Are there any 5-star reviews I can actually read? I didn't see any I could actually read. I mean, this one, right? Fun and interesting take on She-Ra. The new versions of characters are unique personalities and motivations. I know this is primarily a kid's show, but I managed to hold my interest and keep me watching. We get more. Okay, that's fair. Pleasantly surprised how much I enjoy the show. I don't understand this language. Sorry, I won't read that one because I don't want to butcher it. And I don't know what he's saying. Absolutely amazing. The characters, colors, the animation, the writing, 10 out of 10. Oh, no. No. Do you need glasses, Jason J? Do you need a hearing aid? Do you need an adult? Diego K. It was pretty good. The characters and plot are thick enough to keep getting attention. What do you mean thick enough? Like Glimmer? She's pretty thick. She's a thick girl. While the character development and world building kept... oh, wow. Look how badly that's spelled. Okay, so you're a She-Ra fan if you can't spell building right. Kept a straight, simple forward plot to its conclusion. Maybe not as groundbreaking as the original, but good enough to be called a reboot. Hope we get his new season soon. Okay, this person gave it a 3.5. I had to watch this due to the backlash, and it's not as bad as the audience reviews make it out to be. The animation is just fine. The complaints are because it had the same look as Korean-made cartoon. I could not find out if it was animated there, only something relating to DreamWorks. You will see visuals that look like shots taken from Steven Universe, Legend of Korra, or Sailor Moon, even though Sailor Moon isn't Korean animated. I think they actually might have used Korean animators, even though it was a Japanese anime. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. All that being said, it falls in line with the magical girl genre, looks modern, and I feel most of the pushback is because it was done in the old style of animation. It has similarities in some of the character designs, but only a few. It's really bad though for magical girls. It's just, you know, she shows up and like, okay, script says so. That's how you can transform. It's not even good for a magical girl genre. Great start, but the story still has placed to be improved. Okay, so you can barely even write. As long as there's more catcher, I'm ready to ride this thing all the way to the end. Wow, these are kind of some bad reviews. And they're not even tallying the positive reviews for the audience score. It's just, yeah, they're giving it a flat 0. It's kind of hilarious to me. What do you guys think? Do you find this hilarious? I find this absolutely hilarious. Like, it is like most of the people who give it the 5-star ratings either have horrible misspellings, horrible grammatical errors. There's a few in some of the 1-star ratings, sure. There's a lot of 5-star ratings that had no description. You know, there are probably like Tumblr upvotes, I have no idea, or people who didn't know how to type in the comment section. And there's a lot of people who gave it a 0.5 star with no comments, so I didn't want to read any of those because I couldn't, right? It's kind of hilarious to me how we can get 100% when the critics are still even panning it, and they're only critical. Like this is the most recent critic review that we read in the very beginning. He said nothing about how good the show was. He said it was diverse. That is not a critique. That is a descriptor that, you know, is the show good? I'm not going to watch a show based on how diverse it is or not. You know, I need to know, is the show good? Is it funny? Is it true to the characters? Does it have good lessons, good morals? Is it animated well? Is it voice acted well? Telling me it is diverse does nothing. That just tells me it's going to be woke dog shit. And that is kind of what we got in a lot of ways, because it is not a good story, it is not good animation. The voice acting is dreadful. And these are all my opinions, of course. And, you know, feel free to tell me how wrong I am in the comments section below. Or if you agree with me, tell me that too. It's fine. But I just found this hilarious that the audience and the critic scores are so drastically different. I haven't seen this since Star Trek Discovery, where the critics gave it like an 86% and the audience gave it a 12 or something ridiculous. And the same thing with the Orville. I believe the Orville had like a 15 or something, or an 18 on the critic score, and an 89 or 93 or something on the audience. It just kind of tells me how out of touch the critics are versus the audience that they're trying to go for on some of these things, especially Rotten Tomatoes. I keep seeing this over and over. Same thing with Last Jedi, same thing with all of these things, where the audience scores are definitely the thing you want to look at, not the critic scores, because the critics, if they're going to just say it's diverse, like that's a critique of the thing, then I'm not going to take their opinion seriously. What do you guys think? Tell me what you think in the comments section below. I will give you my other She-Ra Rotten Tomatoes video link in the description below here too. I am MechaRandom42. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video or live stream. Bye!